Action.
Yep, we're all set.
This is a class on polearm fighting. The polearm is what I consider the most versatile weapon system that we have in SCA combat. It's a weapon that you can fight at a range of anywhere from, depending on how long your arms are, 8 feet to 6 inches. It's the only weapon style that we use that has that kind of versatility and range, and can hit in any part of a person's body at any given time once you train up a little bit with it. And so what we're going to show you is how to use that versatility and how to make it an asset to you as opposed to a liability, which a lot of people see polearm as being one-dimensional. You can't block or attack at the same time. And it has some weaknesses certainly, but we're going to try to hope to show you how to overcome those weaknesses and use its strengths to your advantage. One of the things I tell people who are just starting out with polearm, learn to be able to move the polearm. Get comfortable with making hand changes. This is the soul of the versatility. If you're not able to hit offside, then you've reduced the effectiveness of the weapon by 50%. And that's a big drop with this weapon. So what I teach people is learn how to hold it. If you're going to hold it, standard way to hold a polearm is like this. Your primary leg forward, and the same leg that you're stepping forward with, that's the hand that steps forward. It's high. With this grip, I'm at 70% of my maximum range just by reaching out and striking my opponent. Okay, but I need to also be able to switch and go shorter for when the fight becomes shorter. Okay, you need to be able to do that as a guy closes. Because if he closes and you stay here, the head of the weapon is beyond him, and you can't hit him and hurt him with this. Sure, you have a butt spike, but that's a secondary weapon. This is your cut. Also, you've lost all leg protection because there's nothing low. Here, it doesn't matter if you can't protect your leg because he can't hit your leg. But as he closes in, you need to be able to drop, pick up the lower guard, and bring the cutting head into range. Okay? By the same token, when you're here, if you want to butt spike somebody, you can do the shorting up of the butt spike. And it's the same motion.
Come all the way around this way.
It's the same motion, but you've got to become comfortable with this change of distance, yet keeping the direction the same. Okay? So that's you need to practice that, doing it in armor and making it smooth. So that second nature, no matter where you are, you can get to where you need to be. The other thing is keeping the range the same, but changing direction. And that's accomplished by bringing your hand down and cutting over. Now I've switched hand positions and leg positions, and now I'm cutting on the opposite side. And I need to be able to do that in combat so that I can strike lower leg. This is a very awkward shot to throw. While it's not wrong, per se, it's an easy one to pick up. Because it's coming across the body, big motions, makes it easy for your opponent to see it coming. But if you can switch, you've changed the angle. You're not coming across his body anymore, now it's a cut. Now he's got to reach down and make that block with the sword, kick it over with the shield. You still may not get to hit, but you're forcing him to commit his defense from this knee all the way around the top to this knee. And if you don't make him afraid and have to block his whole body, again, you're reducing your effectiveness. Your other options won't come into play because he's going to pick those up. So this is a change of direction and keeping the range the same. And it's just done with a hand switch. You rotate it up, bring it back down. No time my hands, both hands left blade. The last hand change is changing direction and range. This is where the lead hand is a pivot hand. And you step forward, and the back hand now becomes the lead hand. Now I've shortened my grip, and I've changed direction. Again, this is not something that you're necessarily going to use in every context or every fight, or that you even should. But what you need to be able to do is comfortable moving the glaive back and forth so that in whatever situation you come into, you're comfortable with the weapon. You've got a handle on the weapon. So no matter what happens, if you want to change direction, if you need to change something up, you're not stuck, as so many new glaive fighters are, in this grip or this grip, and this is all you're doing. Okay? You need to be able to switch out to butt spike, get down, get up here, whatever, but you have to get comfortable doing these things in your armor, in your gloves, and you need to practice these basic hand changes. Maybe they don't actually translate into actual shots, but it translates in control of your weapon. And without the control of your weapon, you're never going to get successful with this particular style. Okay, so different cuts. From here, cut to the head. And it should just be just a straight shot, straight down into a slide. You can also kick it up, change the angle. If you notice that he's blocking like this, just forward a little bit with the shield, you can kick it up. Keep still. The shield comes forward a little bit, which would strike this angle, but it won't stop this. And also for shorter fighters, by kicking the hand up, you're going to help get above their shield a lot of times, when otherwise you would just be striking the edge. Right. The other slashing attacks with a polearm are pretty obvious. I mean, there's a leg, and there's offside, and straight down. Thrusting is where you come into the long range activity of a polearm. When I thrust, as a rule, I have a different stance. My left leg is now the forward leg, my left hand is now the forward hand, and this is what I consider my standard thrusting stance. It has a disadvantage against the shield, because I'm thrusting right into a shield. I have no angle or any hope of striking his body. You've got to be aware of that. So you won't see me out of the stance very often. But I will use this stance against another polearm fighter, against a two-stick fighter, against a greatsword fighter. You can also thrust from this angle. For me, it's one that's taken a lot longer because of the control issues for me. It's a lot harder to control with my left hand because I'm using my left hand as driver, and it's not as good a driver as my right hand. But when you're in this stance, you have the slashing attack, but you also can thrust. And you have to be able to feel comfortable releasing that front hand and just popping it out. Face thrust, real easy. Leg shot, real easy. Take a couple more steps back. One thing that the polearm fighters habitually forget about is that the leg is a legitimate target for a thrust. And one of the best times to throw that leg shot, you take a step back, as he takes a step forward, the leg comes forward, it comes in front of the shield. Okay, even when he's in guard, it comes forward enough, and now you can actually hit this. If you miss, you've still got some range, and you can get back in guard in time. So you're not really exposing yourself as much as you might think. And even if you don't hit him, you're forcing him to block his whole body. You've now shown him that you're willing and probably able to take his leg at range, and that reduces his ability to want to move, and it requires him to block more of his body. And we can do a whole hour on thrusting techniques alone. That's basically it. For me, thrusting is done. The backhand is the driving hand. and the steering hand, the front hand is just a rest. And it's a sliding motion. This is not the best way to thrust somebody, because to shorten your, this is not a very long thrust. This is. And if I step, now that's my 9 feet of range. Where this is an extra 1.5 feet. Okay, now this is, you can't ever do this. Now, just make a disclaimer, there are no bad techniques, there are only bad applications. There may be a time where you want to do something like this, okay, I can't tell you what that is right now, but there might be some time. That doesn't mean you do it every time. So, just slide it forward. The motion, the whole upper body should be still. The only motion should be your back hand. Once the hand gets a little bit past your hip, then you can start rotating your shoulder, release and drive. And this works for spear as well. If you do anything else, you give your opponent information and time to react and time to block. Get on guard. So if I do this, she sees that I'm starting and she can make the adjustment. If I'm here and I do this, the only motion she sees is the tip coming forward. Nothing else in my body tells her I'm throwing thrust. So by the time I'm here, now she's got a clue. It's too late. In SCA combat, if you haven't started your block before your opponent throws the shot, you're not going to make the block. And if you don't believe me, sit down and watch a videotape of anybody fighting, slow motion. You will see the block start before the sword shot starts, whether you're conscious of it or not. So with the thrust, make it as smooth an action as you can. Speed is an illusion at this point. Speed is what your opponent perceives, because they don't know that the shot's actually started until it's too late. Now, one of the things I've been working on recently is what I call smash mouth polearm, giving it back to the shieldman. Shieldman's bread and butter has always been get in their face, get in the foeman's face, and beat him until he dies. So what they've always wanted to do is they've always wanted to be right here. And our answer has always been to run away. And if we were better at running away than they were of chasing us, we won. Well, there's a new technique in town, and it's called taking it back to him. So when he comes in, I want to come in on him. All right? If he wants to get close, I want to be closer. When I'm closer, his range of motion with his hands is severely limited. He doesn't have the same shots that he did if we stayed here. Here he can hit me in the leg, the head, offside. When I'm here, he can't hit my offside. Shots to my head from this position tend to be light because he has no chance. He can start doing wraps and stuff. That's only if I let him have control of the sword. And that's the second half of this. You have to get in it and you make control of the sword. Okay? You put your half on his sword. Right at the kiosk, right at the PowerPoint. You've got two hands against his one. No matter who you are, you have an advantage at this point. You push it against his body. You hold it there. Okay? The other thing is you've got to make sure that the half of the shield, the half of your forearm is past the shield edge. If you're trying this, now you've given him back a second hand. He can push you away and release. Here, you've got 2-on-1, and you have an advantage. And he can't use his shield to get the blade out there. Okay? So as the guy comes in, you step forward and you extend and you meet the threat. First, don't let him set up. Take the range away from him by getting there first. He won't be expecting it, he won't be ready to. Now, what this also means is, when people see this, goes, okay, so now you're just going to hit him like this. Well, no, that's probably not what I'm going to do, because I have some issues about being able to throw a strong shot from here. This is going to be a hard time. He's not going to just sit here and take this. Okay, he's going to be resisting. And if I'm not very careful, he's going to get a release point and rip me up. So my job is just to control the sword, push, and release and get away. And reset my range to where I want it. When I reset my range, now he's got to come back in. I've accomplished two things by meeting him at close and pushing on him. I accomplished one, I'm still alive. And two, he got to where he wanted to get and did not get the result he was looking for. He wanted to get close to me. He knows that that's how he's going to beat me. I let him get close, and he didn't beat me. He didn't win the fight at that moment. He's now questioning his judgment, and he's questioning his motives. And now he's starting to think about things, and that gives you another tool to work on. The other, this is I kind of call this a bullfighter. What's those guys' names? Matador. The Matador technique. Whereas he comes in, you step here, and you pass by. Try that again. You come in, you get your feet, such. It comes in. This big step pass. I'm over exaggerating. Don't necessarily step big. But I don't really meet his force. I direct it off. So as he comes in, I present the half. I present my forearms to shield. I step around, and his momentum carries him away. And so you use these two different techniques to change it up. So he doesn't know when he comes in, am I going to jam him? Am I going to play him off this way and swing out? He's not sure. Well, he's got to. The next time maybe he comes in, I step back, and I throw a shot. When he started to force himself to go, I got to be there faster, harder, whatever. That's the time you can get cheap shots at him. If he's so concerned about making sure he gets to you that he's forgotten that he has to defend himself.
Hi, how are you?
No, you're supposed to.
We'll show you the C shot. Not that hopefully by this time you've all seen it, firsthand or otherwise. But the C shot starts here. It comes down across the face. It's very important they see this motion because they'll now want to follow it. And you follow the shot and you come right back up. You want to come as close to the shield edge as you can because this motion takes longer and it gives you a chance to recover. Just come straight up to the head. You can do this both ways. You can do this as well. Okay? You can bring it this way. Get him to bring the sword over and strike on the offside as well. And you can do the C shot here, and if he's getting to the point where he can block it, and he just has a student body left, the shield goes down, the sword goes across. Do this. Right around, strike the arm. Don't worry about hitting or strike the arm. One arm shield guy is not really useful. Butt spikes, I haven't talked a whole lot about that. It's not my forte per se, but butt spike can get you out of a bad situation. Guy comes in close, you can get up here. You always have that option. You got to remember that you have the option. If you're not going to use this, don't even put it on. So Randolph actually uses it as a primary attack. I couldn't possibly do justice to how he sets it up. But he uses the C shot as a way to come in and strike. Is that not right? Yeah. Going into the armpit. So he uses the C shot mentality to set him up. And he does it a little slower, so they get the rotation, they get back up here, now they're covering, and now he's opened his opponent up for this kind of shot. I I throw a butt spike off the C shot, it comes like this, and I kick it out. Because the shield, and because it takes just a little longer to develop, it goes down, he tries to make this block, he comes back up, this opens up, and then I kick it. I'm using the momentum, the rotation to kick it out, and I throw into the body. I've got separation distance-wise, so that if I miss, and he's coming in, I have 3 or 4 feet to give away with this shot. Because I'm kicking it out, and I'm literally throwing it like this, my angles change. I'm striking from this angle, not this angle. I'm not going through a shield. And even if he's covered like this, I still have a shot into his body. Even if his shield is in position, I still have a shot into his body. And this is the point where we usually take questions and do live combat, but since you're only watching this on tape, you can't do that. If you have questions, you have comments, seek me out anytime in the future. I'll be happy to sit down with you, walk through some of these, get an armor, and go live combat. Thank you for your time.